been generating music using Suno AI for the past 24 hours, and it's made me really think about what people are going to be doing in the very near future, like in the next 12 months. Because if you had the choice, would you just listen to music that you can generate about whatever you want, any genre you want, any lyrics that you want to express yourself in? You could write the lyrics even, and it'll sing them for you. I'm not suggesting this is taking over from musicians and things, but I've just noticed myself the last 24 hours, it's exciting to use this, at least gimmickly it's exciting to use for the now, and I love creating something I want to hear. And I'm curious to see what it pushes out, and I'm curious to see what it generates and what it creates. Sometimes it's quite surprising, and I've actually heard some new genres of music that I never even knew existed, and it's cool. Like, I actually really like it. Like, things that I wouldn't generally listen to have come across my way because I was listening to the public audios, and it's really good. And I even did like some jazz fusion generations, and they are incredible. And they're clearly modeled after real artists. This is the problem I have with it, is that even one of the metal songs I did was blatantly Gojira. Like, the voice was even sounded like the singer from Gojira. I don't know exactly how to feel about it. I mean, I know how I feel about it. I don't like that artists that are being blatantly ripped off from aren't getting some sort of copyright. There needs to be some sort of legislation around models that are used for these AIs to create something. People look at it after the fact and say, well, there's no way to tell that they've done it, but you don't have to tell. The fact that they've done it in the first place, I think this is where something legally should happen, where, we modeled all your music or all your artwork, and now we don't know which one it's using when it generates it, so there's no legal cause. But there should be a new law around AI modeling for commercial use. I'm only really talking about commercial use. I think for private use, it should be fine. I think you should be able to do whatever you want behind closed doors. If you've got open source software and you've got access to it, you can generate whatever the heck you want. Like, I want Ocean Machine version 2, disc 2. That's what I want. Ocean Machine disc 2. If you don't know what that is, it's like I want Sgt. Pepper's disc 2. I want that album that came after Master of Puppets but before And Justice for All, with Cliff still on it. Yeah, I want that album. So things like that are like things that we're going to be able to generate ourselves. Sorry if you don't relate to those music styles, but you know what I mean. Just think of your favorite artist, their peak period where they were the best that you love personally, and you can go and just generate whatever the heck you want and enjoy it. And it's not about copyright, because this is the problem I have with Suno, is that it's telling me, oh, you've paid for the service, that means you own the copyright. Well, not really, because you've modeled it after an artist and you're blatantly ripping off. You can say, well, it's like a human doing it. It's not the same. This is technology doing it. It's different. It's different. If a human's doing it and they're adding their own style and flavor to it, that's different. But if an AI is modeling, it's deep learning off your stuff, then that legally should be copyright for the person it's been modeled for. And maybe there should be some sort of either percentage or maybe like an upfront payment, maybe, if they're going to use that information, because really the information is the currency of AI. Right now it is. The currency of AI is as much information that it can possibly handle, and that's what it's going to need. That's what it's going to need to get to the next level of AGI or ASI, like the general intelligence or super intelligence, where it's going to surpass like human capabilities. That's when we're looking at the singularity. If you don't know what the singularity is, that's what they mean when they say it in this context. The singularity is when an AI it surpasses humanity in its ability to think. And will it become sentient? Will it become reasonable? Will it become self-aware? Will it experience the ineffable? Will it experience transcendence? Will it be compassionate and empathetic? These are all questions that we have no idea about. But my point being around AI currently with this music one is I've had a lot of fun just generating music. And it's taken me away from listening to actual artists and taken me away from music. The time I would have spent either listening to an artist or even creating my own music, because it is like a new little toy to play with. So What would you do? What would you rather generate your own music? If it sounds cool, right? It sounds cool. If you could generate your own music, whatever you feel like, or would you rather just chuck on Spotify, shuffle, and listen to that? Or would you prefer personalized? Or would you like both? Do you want the option to have both? Or would you even listen to what other people have generated? I'm just curious to get like a consensus of what some of you think about it. Me personally, I've had a lot of fun generating power metal that's singing about Lord of the Rings, because that's what I like and that's what I want to hear. There's like, I've got Blind Guardian and I love Blind Guardian. I saw them recently and I'm inspired by them, and I love Lord of the Rings. I'm obsessed with Tolkien. So if I can sing songs about Tolkien, I love it. But there's not that much, really. I mean, we've got Blind Guardian, but there's not much else that's like really like sing-along music. That's really good music, you know. So that's what I've been doing, and it's pretty niche and it's pretty silly. Like, and I realise that, and I guess it's a bit gimmicky in that sense. But I've really enjoyed doing that. I've really enjoyed just creating Lord of the Rings songs with lyrics I've come up with as well, and it sings it, and lyrics it creates on itself, telling it to write about a specific topic from Tolkien, and it's amazing what it can do. So I'm just kind of like, I don't want to say I'm in two minds, because I'm not. I think I've just shared my opinion about what I think about it in terms of the legalities of it. Like, the argument is that people make is that you can't copyright it because it doesn't know which part. Oh, what, this like 2% is used from the Beatles, and then 2% of this, you know. It's like, so what, 2% is going to go to the Beatles? Well, you can't do that, you know. It's like an artist sharing its own thing. Well, that's not the argument. The legislation should be around the information that was fed to the AI in the first place by the company. If they're going to use something, then they should pay for it. I think that's how simple it should be. It's not free. You know, the information is the currency. It's not free. And at the moment, they're getting it for free. So, yeah. I don't think it's going to stop real artists like myself. Like, I still want to create music. But you know what I've been thinking? And I'm going to try this. I need some drums with the rain brushes. You know, the what's it called? Metal brushes. Rain brushes. The metal brushes. So I need like very chilled out brushes on snare drum takes. I'm going to use it just to generate drum takes, because I was going to record a drummer to just play snares with brushes, and I was just going to use that and just get them to record a whole bunch of different ones for me. But I could just generate drum tracks now of different BPM, and it's going to creatively make it for me, and then I can hone in the iteration and make it better and get exactly what I want, and even be surprised and more creative from what it generates. So that's something I could use on my music. I need like this 5-second synth line in the key of D. It needs to sound like Skrillex or something, I don't know. Like something that would take a while to program. I could just tell an AI, here, just do this for 5 seconds, and I'll put it over the top of my music just for that part, because it's not really the main point of my music. My main point of my music is sequencing the orchestra and playing guitar. And yeah, I can do some drum programming, but if I could get... Man, the drums that it's programming me on the metal is insane. Like, it's amazing. The fills sound real. The cymbals sound absolutely horrible, but the fills sound real. So I'm just really like... I can see a use for it for myself, but where am I verging on the legalities of doing that now? You know, like, it's clearly modelled after something, so maybe I'd pay for a service of a drummer that it's allowed to be modelled after. That's what I could do. I don't know, I'm just sort of thinking out loud, like, how do we get around this? Because I'm telling you, this is only going to get more and more and more and more as the months go on, and the years especially. So it's something you need to think about. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I don't know if you guys are like sort of at the forefront of what's going on with AI. It's something I'm very much thinking about and using every day. The large language models I use every day for problem solving, and it's saved me so much time. And if you're not using it, I don't know what you're doing, like Googling stuff. You don't need to Google stuff anymore. I've got 4 different AI ones that I use, and they're free. Claude, Pi, Leo, ChatGPT 3.5, and I do use Copilot and Gemini sometimes. Gemini is a bit weird. Copilot's more like a search engine, I'm finding. Like, it's okay. Claude 3 is fantastic. The Leo one for Brave browser is incredible. I've actually been using it the last week to do problem solving on my computer. I had a lot of tech issues, like computer problems, and I solved all my problems using Leo. Like, I just typed in, this is what's wrong, this is what's happening, what do I do? Oh, it could be this, and I'm like, no, it's not that. And then like just trying to find exactly what it is. Whereas before, I would have to search for hours on forums to try and find someone else who had a similar problem to try and find the problem. Whereas I can be real specific, ask it a question, it knows exactly what I mean. It goes, oh, yep, I've seen this on the internet. Well, I don't know how it gets the information, but it's got it. And then it gives me a solution. So that's just one example, like, of how you can use it. And I didn't think the music would come this quick, but I'll finish with this, like, because it's something I want to keep mentioning. It's the compounding effect of the progression of AI. There's two analogies. If you put one grain of rice on a chessboard square, and then the next square you put 2 grains of rice, it's a compounding effect. Then the next square has 4, then the next square has 8, then the next square 16, then 32, then 64, then 128. You see, it doubles every time. By the time you get to the last square on the chessboard, you get to 2 to the power of 64. It's 18.4 quintillion grains of rice. It's 2,000 times the production of rice on Earth in a year. This is the compounding effect. So this is the analogy that people make when they're talking about the progression of AI. Because only 3 years ago, people were saying AGI and ASI was going to be like, that's going to happen in 2050, 2060, you know, that's 30, 40 years away. That's not going to happen anytime soon. And now they're saying it's going to happen next year. On the other example was, for compounding, this one's crazy. A newspaper, if you fold a newspaper 50 times, so in half each time, 50 times, it's impossible to do this, but if you were to do it, the length of it would reach the sun. Don't believe me? Look it up or ask an AI.